Hello friends, welcome to Squaird Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today we're going to be designing an hourly grid weekly layout along with a matching pre-planning half sheet for the start of February. So come plan with me. And I've got these washi tapes here all ready to go, along with this mouth liner that I'll use, this pad of cardstock papers, and these Happy Planner sticker books, which I'll pull from. Okay, let's go ahead and lay down some wax paper and get started on the design. I have mapped out the color scheme that I want to use that coordinates with some florals here in the Happy Planner sticker book. I saw this pattern paper. I thought that went pretty well with it and was originally going to do a ripping style of incorporation of this paper, but then I got the idea to punch it and make some circles just to add a little bit of pattern to the spread. So I went ahead and punched out 3 circles and am figuring out now where everything is going to go here on the page. I have been playing around with different designs for this layout. It's a little bit tricky. I feel like I'm getting kind of in a rut as far as where things can go. I use pretty much the entire 3/4 of the week from top to bottom, mainly at the bottom. So I have a little bit of room there at the top, but as far as functional planning, I need everything below the first quarter of the page at the top going down. It has really made it a little bit more challenging to create cute spreads with lots of decor since, I am limited by that. That said, we are going to give it a go here for this week and see what we can come up with. I'm working towards a triangular oriented spread with that top corner on the right, the sidebar in the middle here having a little bit of decor on the far left, and then a cluster at the bottom centered around the spine. The bottom one's pretty tricky because, again, I do use that functional space, but I'm trying to minimize how high up that goes so it doesn't really get too far into that area that I actually do plan in. We'll see if we can make this work. I do have a lot of empty space there at the top, but I've been thinking about adding in some tasks there like I used to in 2023 to fill the space a bit more. I am going to be adding a half sheet, as you'll see, for my master task list and a place also to track my events and appointments. But I do feel like I am missing that element of having tasks directly on specific days. I used to have that in my horizontal planner, and it just feels like that is something that I kind of miss from that layout. So I'm going to figure out if that can work here this hybrid week between January and February. So I've worked these clusters quite a bit. As you can see, I've already put the florals together along with those punched out cardstock circles and have added in even some washi tape coordinating with those florals. I pulled a bunch of different washi tapes, but decided on this kind of purple tone to be brought out a little bit and the soft beige tone. Mainly because I didn't want to overwhelm it with a lot of red, and I have that red quote there, which I think I'll be bringing in another red quote eventually. So I didn't want to overdo it with red washi, and the other colors were just not strong enough, I didn't feel like, to be washi tape items on the spread. I've also pulled in a few outline binder clips. I just thought that added a little extra something to those clusters. There wasn't very many of them, so I only was able to bring in 2 or 3 of them total, but I think that just a little bit of added texture really helps those clusters have something interesting to look at. So that said, let's go ahead and start moving things over. I have kept it fairly simple. Like I said, it's just been a little bit difficult to get super creative with these spreads, but I do like a nice clean look. So this, I think, will fit the bill and not hinder my planning all that much. So I'm just going to drop in this bottom half first, kind of get that lined up, and then start laying in the other clusters. I realized here that I need to glue down those circle stickers, so I'll get these placed and then I'll go back and actually glue down those circles. It is cardstock, so it's quite a bit heavier than the actual page. I'm just going to use my glue stick to settle it there on the paper, but it is fairly thick, so it does have some rise to it on the page. Definitely kind of stands out or up from the actual page. So let's go ahead and do the trimming now that I've got everything settled in, saving any reusable pieces for the half sheet, separating out the pages. Did a little bit of overlap there when I laid down stickers, so it's a bit of a gap. I also want this washi tape to outline around the floral, so we'll trim it by hand. It didn't come out quite how I had hoped. It was a little bit hard to see the floral through the washi tape, so a little bit later I'll fix that with a trimming. But for now, let's go ahead and move on to the washi tape here on the top. And I'll just go ahead and lay that in, line that to the top of the page. And that all looks good. Except for this corner here is a little bit crooked, so let's go ahead and straighten that out before I trim it. We'll finish out the trimming as well on the other stickers. And I see one that I missed. So next we're going to move on to the half sheet, and now that I've got a pretty good idea of how things are going to look, I'll just start laying things in, including some washi tape here at the bottom on this front side, and just seeing what other florals we have to work with for the half sheet. And since I have this trimming I really like, I'm going to lay that in. I'm going to use this one on the bottom and then washi tape on the top here for the back side, and then I'll do the opposite on the front. Let's figure out how to combine these. There was one more quote that I wanted to use, so I'm going to bring that in, and then I saw that there was a to-do list in the red tone as well, so I think that'll be great for the back since that's where my master to-do list will be. And just making a cute little cluster here for the top with that quote, so smile big, and then I'll trim off any excess and reuse those where I can. And then we'll work on trimming out the washi tape and add in some glue there at the bottom for that half circle that I used. And bring in a few more elements, stickers, just trying to use up that whole page all along this half sheet. And that looks good. Let's go ahead and lay in that second layer of washi. Again, I do like to try to use up any trimmings. Sorry you guys aren't seeing that. I just basically laid in some of the leaves that were left over. Kind of fill out that little cluster there a bit more. And that's all looking good. We'll add in this binder clip here. Again, sorry that that was kind of off camera. And I noticed that this color of the binder clip was a little bit more red versus the one I already used on the spread, which was a closer orange red to the to-do list. Since they're right next to each other, I think I will replace those. So we'll go ahead and swap those out. And then I will drop in that leaf there to kind of cover up the washi tape issue I had. I think that really helped fill out that cluster. Did want to use this last trimming, but I couldn't find a good home for it. Tried a few different places, but it just was looking a little bit awkward. So we will just leave that on the page and move on. Okay, so next I need to set up the half sheet for the week to come. On the front, I use it to track day-specific items, like I said, events, appointments, things like that. So I'm just going to use my mild liner to outline the 7 days of the week. It's a pretty light color, which I actually really like. It'll be perfect for the task list on the back. We'll set that up, and then I'll use my Pigma Micron in a 03 tip to write in the dates. And that looks good. Front is set up. And next we'll get started on the Alistair method list I like to use on the back. I've been doing this since the beginning of the year. It's working out pretty good, but like I said, I do miss that day-specific task list. This one is great because it allows you to have just one long list, and then you can assign the tasks on the days that you want them to be. So that really makes it a lot friendlier for setting up tasks that you're not real sure on when you're going to get to them. So that I love about it, and it allows you to kind of, migrate things over. But again, I do feel like it's a little bit harder for me to figure out what I need to do every day. And so we'll see. We'll see if I can marry these two items together without being too redundant. Lastly, I'm going to create my videos of the week production list. And I'll just do that real quick in the sidebar. Makes things simple for me to track how far ahead I am with the video production each week. And I got ready to stick this in and realized that I needed to clean out those bottom two holes on both sheets. So I'm going to go ahead and go back and do that with my precision cutter. And once I'm done with that, you guys, we will be done, friends. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, too, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch. And think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And we will see you next time. Bye.